Unfortunately, United States spends the most money per capita on healthcare. And also, unfortunately, the results are very mediocre. Now, I would like to talk about the efficacy of this, but I cannot talk about healthcare without touching on the finances.
Hey, how can we bring up the first thing if we're not going to talk about the second thing? Did you talk to the guy?
What guy?
The guy with the thing.
Finances, of course, include many wars on which the United States has spent a tremendous amount of money. This predates the Second World War and goes all the way to the Civil War when bonds were first introduced and debt was first popularized in this country. But in general, we have allocated massive amounts on war fighting capacity, some 50 trillion since World War II. But if we listen to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, we hear that the entirety of NATO, including the United States, is outproduced several times over, 4 times over, in fact, by Russia in terms of artillery shells and other weaponry.
The 2% we are now is absolutely not enough. When you look what Russia is producing now in 3 months, it's what the whole of NATO is producing from Los Angeles up to Ankara in a full year. And then Russia is not bigger than the Netherlands and Belgium combined as an economy. The two of you together is the Russian economy. And they are producing in 3 months what the whole of NATO is producing in a year. And don't forget, when you compare Russian numbers, that what you can buy in Russia for the same money is, of course, much more. Because they do not have our high salaries, they don't have our bureaucracy, they can move at a higher speed, and they have basically created a war economy, and their whole industry is now on a war footing.
And this is with a budget that's 10 times higher for the whole of NATO compared to Russia, and with the United States under President Trump wanting to increase its military budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion, we're going to be spending even more. And this investment absolutely crowds out healthcare spending, as well as infrastructure spending. So unfortunately, this is why I've had to make multiple videos about geopolitics, economics, the stability of the dollar, because it is impossible to talk about healthcare while talking about the dollar and the undermining of our economy. Respublika Rstiči NDS.